Hi everyone, I'm Mandy, and this is Method to My Madness. Before I get started, I want to express my condolences to those who lost friends or family in the Orlando shooting. There is no reasons for the atrocious crimes, and yet they happen anyway. I'm not myself gay or bi, but I still consider myself an ally of the LGBTQ+ community. Everyone deserves to love whoever they wish, as long as it's another consenting adult. Less than 24 hours after the tragedy, I heard multiple reasons about why this man did what he did. There was talk that it was because he was Muslim, but that isn't true. He was Muslim, but he did this crime because he was a homophobic terrorist. There was also talk floating around from his ex-wife claiming he was bipolar, though never diagnosed, which contributed to his crime. Let me make this crystal clear. Neither his religious beliefs nor his mental health caused him to commit this massacre. He felt he knew what was right and wrong, and felt he should be the one to punish those who were doing wrong. He was a bad man. Even if he had bipolar disorder, it didn't make him violent. I've not personally dealt with bipolar, but I know a few people who have. And from what I gather, it makes you extremely depressed at times and extremely happy at others. Neither of these feelings would lead to violence against other people. This has given me the idea to do a video about each mental illness out there, or at least the most prevalent ones. I'm starting with the ones I have personally experienced, and then I will move on to what I understand about those I don't have. If you have any specific disorder you'd like me to cover, or if you suffer from a disorder and you want to give me your input on it, please contact me. The first one I'm going to do is the newest diagnosis I have received: schizoaffective disorder. I would like to take a moment to apologize for not doing a video for 2 weeks. I was having a really hard time with new medications and their side effects, as well as the illness itself and its symptoms. I found it incredibly difficult to have any motivation to do anything, including making a video, but also eating, reading, which I usually love, watching TV, or pretty much anything besides sleeping or working, and only then because I truly love my job and I would be devastated if I lost it. So, last week, I finally got the much dreaded new diagnosis: schizoaffective disorder. What is schizoaffective disorder? Well, it's a joint diagnosis. It means I suffer from both symptoms of schizophrenia and a mood disorder, which in my case is major depressive disorder. So let's break it down. I have symptoms of hallucinations and paranoia from schizophrenia. I don't think I need to go into too much detail about paranoia, but let me say it is mostly having fears and anxiety about something unlikely to happen. My paranoia centers on the fear that people are following me. The hallucinations require a bit more explanation. First, the auditory hallucinations. I hear voices. I've said that many times here. But I also hear sound effects sometimes. When I do hear voices, I can't always tell what they're saying. I have two groups of voices. One is Dick, who got his name from supernatural character Dick Roman because he reminds me of the Leviathan on the show. He can be soft-spoken at times, screaming at others, but there's always malice in his voice and in his words. He is the only voice I hear when there is not white noise. The other group I call the Whisperers. Can you guess why? When I first heard them, I would only hear unintelligible whispers. After some time, they became louder, and I was able to separate them. There's a male, a female, and a female child. Male and female adult sometimes talk or even yell, but they still mostly whisper. The female child either whispers or giggles. Creepy, I know. Told someone it's like being in a horror movie. When I can hear them, they all say negative things, much like Dick does. They tell me no one loves me, that people I consider my friends and family don't really care about me, that they just pity me. And at their worst, they chanted that my husband wasn't coming back from a trip out of town because he was tired of dealing with all my problems. The whispers only appear when there is white noise. Fans, running water, TV or music if I'm not really focusing on it. Luckily, one of the new medications they have me on had made the whispers go away. I haven't heard them in 3 days. That may not seem like a long time, but trust me, when you hear people talking all the time with no way to stop them or to walk away from them, and they finally shut up, 3 days is a lifetime. Dick's still there, but hey, we're working on it. To clarify, I know that these voices are in my head, literally speaking, but they don't sound like they're in my head. They sound like they're coming from an outside source. Sometimes they sound like they're in the fan or in the water fountain. Sometimes they just sound like there's someone talking right behind me. Interestingly, in my case, they never say my name. I've heard others talk about hearing voices, and some of them do say names. Mine don't, for whatever reason. It's always, hey, you. I've had people ask, or assume, that the voices tell me to harm others. And that's not true. Under normal circumstances. Wait, don't freak out, let me explain. The one and only time a voice has told me to hurt anyone besides myself was when I was 17. I mentioned in my first video that I almost died at 17. It was more like as soon as I turned 17, meaning my 17th birthday and the days immediately after. And it wasn't like a car accident or something. It was someone holding me against my will, starving me, dehydrating me, and beating me for days. I truly thought I was going to die. I tried to go over all the possible ways to escape, but I was too scared to actually do any of them. These people were doing all this after I did nothing. If I actually acted against them, I could only imagine what my punishment would be. Anyway, during all this inner turmoil, I heard a female voice coming from the air conditioner tell me to kill one of my captors. That it was the only way that I would make it out alive. I understand that this is the only time that this has happened, and it was under extreme duress. Plus, it was not telling me to hurt some random or innocent person. It was telling me to hurt a specific person, someone who was a very real threat against me. It was trying to get me to commit to something I had already considered. It was one isolated incident, and never again has any voice told me to do anything to hurt someone else. The visual part of my hallucinations. I sometimes see shapes, usually bird-like shapes or people-like shapes, but only black, pitch black, no color whatsoever. If they're in profile, I can tell there's a nose, but looking straight on, I can't see any details of the face. I usually see them out of the corner of my eyes and my periphery. Thankfully, the medication has also helped take care of these as well. Moving on. The MDD, major depressive disorder, part of my diagnosis, is much more common knowledge, but there is still some confusion. It isn't just being sad after an upsetting event. It's not having a blah day every now and then. It's not feeling like getting out of bed for days at a time. It's hiding from the world because maybe then you won't have to face all the things that seem so scary to you. Things that aren't normally scary. Bills, class, work, driving, getting dressed, seeing people, talking to people. The list goes on and on. It's forgetting to eat or shower because you don't think you're worth the effort. It's crying over something small, like spilling a drink, or over something huge, like how hopeless you feel, because it is all proof of your failures. I was shown a video the other day that said you're not your depression. You are the sky, and the depression is a cloud going across it. I agree and disagree with this. I am not my depression, or any other diagnoses for that matter, but they are a part of me, just like a cloud is part of the sky. It's not the entirety of the sky, but it's there, always there, somewhere in one form or another. On good days, the clouds are just vapor that isn't visible. On bad days, they're dark storm clouds with thunder and lightning. I agree that this isn't me, but I almost feel like that analogy makes it seem like it'll go away with time, and it's all temporary, which is not always the case. I have known people who are on short-term disability for depression because it can be crippling. It can shut down every part of your life. Family, friends, pets, work, school, eating, drinking, doctor's appointments, everything. I can't tell you how many appointments I canceled because I didn't have the energy to go, or I was so worried that they would tell me I was failing in one way or another. It was almost like not doing anything was easier, because then if I failed because I didn't try, not because I was a stupid failure at life. And now, for your vocab word of the day. Triggering. Most commonly used as upsetting or making angry. It actually means triggering something, being an anxiety attack, flashback, or some other serious event. If someone said something that makes you unhappy or mad, it is not a trigger. It may be rude, but it is not a trigger. Okay, I think that's enough for today. As always, thank you for watching. If you want more details on anything I've talked about, if you have any questions, or if you have any suggestions for a video, comment below or message me. If you like this video, like, subscribe, or share with a friend so we can get the positive message to more people. Get the word out, but I need your help to do it. Bye guys, see you next week.